Welcome to Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. So current time of 9:10 a.m. on the Eastern Time on Monday on June 6th. The overall crypto market and the equity market, we are relatively green in a future perspective. On the Dow Jones, up about 0.8%. Futures on S&P up about 1%. On the Dow Jones is up about 1% as well, while the oil it seems like it's kind of hovering back down a little bit from the 122 mark that we have seen during this weekend and also obviously on Friday. But now it's like just a hair below at 119. The 10-year yield is still kind of spiking at the 2.98% at the moment, try to reach back up to 3%. So what's the buying pressure that we're seeing, right? Knowing the fact that last week we had a relatively volatile week, despite the positive job number that we saw on Friday, but because of the the corporate adjustments, foreshadowing a more of a negative economic outlook going forward with the interest hikes, a lot of companies like Coinbase, Tesla, and selective tech companies have decided to take the logical move by shaving their human capital by 10% for Tesla specifically. And also a lot of job offers has been rescinded as well, obviously with that negative sentiment, drive a lot of sell-offs across the board, right? However, as the weekend durates, and obviously, last night until today, we are seeing some, relatively healthy buying pressure. It's mainly coming from, China overseas with respect to a couple of different elements, right? One is with respect to the regulatory probing. It seems like it's de-escalating. They're gonna be a little bit more passive going forward, rather than in comparisons to how we saw companies like Didi and other tech companies in China, and Chinese companies that operate overseas as well, where Chinese government wanted to dig their hands in it to make sure that everything is compliant and copacetic in their regulatory restrictions and dynamics. But it seems like the media front is indicating that they are a little bit more lenient, alleviated from that that type of pressure historically. In addition to that, the COVID lockdown in China is also subsiding as well. So they allow for indoor dining again, right? As you probably have seen or recall from weeks ago, where China was literally in a huge lockdown, right? No one was going out on the streets, even in food delivery or like supply delivery. It was all done by robots, right? Where it was like mostly robots on the streets rather than human being on the streets, right? And then with respect to the other side of the spectrum is also indicating that seems like there's some verbiage coming out from selective investment banks like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, saying that there's a paradigm shift happening, that we should be technically seeing some sort of a bottom in the near term in the next couple months, right? With the coming up FOMC meeting, which is technically on the 14th and 15th, and then subsequently we have another one in July. We have a gap until there's another one in September. So we'll see, right? We can only be in a negative red territory for so long, and the Fed has to tactically, progress over time, which we hope that in good faith that we will. So we see how that will shake out later. So, but with respect to all the macroeconomical factors that we know, is that so despite today is a relatively green opening, we still have that lingering foreshadow with respect to the on the 10th with the CPI report that's coming out, and then subsequently with respect to the 14th and 15th FOMC meeting, right? So let's just dive into technical to see what's happening right now across the market. Is relatively healthy. So with respect to recording time of 9:15 a.m. on Eastern time, Ethereum is at $1,907 at the moment. We're in between levels, right? We're at the 44 out of 70 right now. But something we know is that on a weekly and monthly is bullish, but we need to cross down on a MACD front first and then cross up, right? You cannot just like have one shot of like leap up forever without any sort of confirmatory technical signal first. So what we need to do is kind of have to cross down and then cross up, right? And right now we're also in between levels, right? 1900 is not a level, right? The real level is 1850. So we cross above that. The next level we need to get to is somewhere around 1998 or 2000, right? And then subsequently to 2150. So I don't know if we have a shot of actually getting there. But would it be logical to take profit? I think you just have to watch out, right? Can we break above 50 on the RSI scale? If we do, that's great. That's more bullishness, right? But you could see that clearly we are kind of pausing around this area because it's a resistance level, a flat number resistance level. So you have to kind of see, right? I hope that we can actually break above to 50. And then if we break above 50, we're heading to 2000. But if we don't, we're going to come back down to 1850. That's just how logics work, right? Respect to Bitcoin, it's up about 5% respectively. So next level of resistance is going to be somewhere around like 32 all the way to 32,500. You could see that clearly we broke above 3,500, but we need to cross down and cross up, right? You could see that clearly we're matching with the resistance level that we've formed earlier in late May. So right now we are getting back there again. So can we break above this level, right? You can see that we're kind of having a weak pressure right now. So ideally coming back down to cross down and then cross up was more logical. In respect to classic, up about 5% as well. I like anywhere from basically, if you zoom out a little bit, like anywhere from below $20 is logical DCA from the current setup. Dogecoin up about 3%, like low sevens, right? Like the high sevens to the low sevens will be a good frame. Again, you have to cross down and then cross up, right? Cardano is up about 10% so far. Again, at 55 out of 70 right now, you need to cross down and then cross up again, right? So I like anywhere from basically the lower flat levels, right? Like 50, 45, 40 respectively. Solana is as like parabolic at the moment, up about 12% so far. Let's take a look. So we basically bounced from the 38, which is where we are supposed to be. The reason we bounce a little bit more harsh is because it's a lot more oversold in comparison to other coins. But again, you have to kind of cross down and then cross up, right? So coming back down ideally to 38 again is much more logical than keep going up to 50 from here. XRP up about 3% at 40 cents at the moment. I like anywhere from basically, I would say 40 is current level, right? But I like anywhere from like 35 cents below from here based on the current setup. You need to cross down and cross up, right? Polkadot's up about 5% so far at 9.71. I like anywhere from basically like the high 8 all the way to the low 8, right? So again, you need to cross down and cross up just like all the other ones. You cannot just go in one shot, right? Algorand's up about 6% so far. I would say 35 cents below would be logical. Again, you need to cross down and cross up, right? Shiba Inu's try to revive back up a little bit, up about 3%. We're between levels, 1400 versus 900. So ideally buying at 900 would be more logical, right, as we get closer to it. MATIC up about 8% so far, 64 cents. I like anywhere from basically 60 cents below from the current setup. We basically at the hair of breaking above 250 on RSI scale. I would say that's a good level to watch to take profit from because you need to cross down and cross up just like all the other ones, right? And then lastly for AVAX up about 11%. 41 out of 70 at the moment. It was surging and getting blockade around 27. So which was reason why we kind of sold back down because it's a resistance level. So I like anywhere from basically like the lower 20s, right? 22 to below. Again, you need to cross down and cross up from here, right? So it's a green opening today, mainly driven by China again, and also investors are in China are probably a little more active in buying. But this doesn't really have a lot to do with the U.S. dynamic. It's mostly because of the Chinese stocks are all bouncing. Like Diddy, for example, surged by 50% after the report that regulators are ending probe on the regulatory front, but also on the COVID is also subsiding overseas as well. So appreciate you. Have a good day. And let me know if you have questions. Appreciate you. Bye.